Here is Elvis.
This is not a test. This is rock and roll. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fun. I hope it's fun. Here we are again, and as you can see, my forehead has got sunburnt. Silly boy. I'll never learn, will I? Yes. I sat out in the sun for a few minutes, and this is what happens. We're not used to the sun in Ireland, you see. That's the problem. Right. You're very, very welcome to Elvis, the Ultimate Fan channel. And Sandra P says you've got to wear a hat. Yes, I should have been wearing a hat. You're right. So hello to everybody that's joining me live. I really do appreciate your company on a Sunday evening. It's a Sunday evening in Ireland. But wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely Sunday. And if you're in Australia, you're having a lovely Monday. And I'm lucky today because this is a holiday weekend and we have no work tomorrow. Well, I don't have any work tomorrow. It's a holiday. So I'm in holiday mood, definitely. Thank you, Mrs. EAP Elaine. That's very, very nice of you to say that. So what's coming up? Well, as you can see, Graceland sale, of course, in inverted commas, rumbles on. Now, I'm going to ask you to give me your opinion on this in a minute, because a self-proclaimed Nigerian scammer, in inverted commas, proudly took credit for the failed attempt to auction off Elvis Presley's Graceland mansion, the media told us during the week. The ownership of the Memphis property was thrust into doubt earlier this week after a mysterious company named Norsany Investments and Private Lending LLC claimed the right to auction off Graceland, voted the most popular museum in America in 2023. Okay, so it has been reported earlier this week that a person has been corresponding via email admitting to being the ringleader of the plot. And I'm quoting the person here when they say, "We figure out how to steal," the alleged thief said. "That's what we do." The ringleader told the outlet this crew preys on the dead, the unsuspecting, and the elderly, especially those from Florida and California. So that's nothing really to be proud of, is it? And that's nothing really to be boastful about. Yeah, okay. We use birth certificates and other documents to discover personal information to aid in their illicit schemes to steal property. The email address it was corresponding with is alleged to have matched an address used in court documents by Norsany Investments and LLC Private Lending, the company behind the attempt to foreclose on the property. I'm quoting again here. "I am the one who creates trouble," the writer said in his email. I had fun figuring this one out, and it didn't succeed very well," they added. No, it didn't. The emailer claimed to be based in Nigeria, but wrote in Luganda, a Bantu language spoken in Uganda, and broken English. To add more mystery to the case, the court filings appear to have been written in fluent English. Alrighty. And this, again, is what they said. "Yo client don't have nothing to worries," the person wrote. "Win for her," and "for" is spelt F-I-R. Then the writer added, "She beat me at my own game." Well, I don't think it was a case of Riley beating you at a game. She just filed against the lawsuit. So I don't know. The case still has many unanswered questions, including whether Norsany Investments and Private Lending exist. For instance, reports that phone numbers listed in court documents for the company are not in service, while addresses listed by the company are those of post offices. So, not to sound too boastful here, but I did say in last week's live show that there was more to it than met the eye, and I still say there probably is more to it than meets the eye. So I think it'll rumble on for a few more weeks or months. I just had a feeling last week, and when I asked most people, they said no, they didn't think there was any more to it than met the eye. But then again, maybe there isn't. They're just scammers, and they were trying to get money that wasn't theirs. So with no further ado, I am going to do the poll, and it's very, very simple. You'll see it on the screen in a second, and I'm asking this question, and the question I'm asking is, do you think the emails from the Graceland for sale scammer are genuine? Okay? Or is it just somebody messing around? Do you think the emails from the Graceland for sale scammer are genuine? Yes, no, not sure yet, need to know more. And without further ado, we go on to, let's have a look. Yes, Cam, stand by. How you doing, Cam? Let's see, let's take you off mute and then you'll be able to hear me. Hi.
How are you, Steve?
Hey, I'm doing really good.
Good.
So what do you think about this whole email scammer and him emailing the press?
Steve, I think I touched on it last week. Sweet and short, I wish this kind of stuff would come to an end, really.
I mean, I think this might be the final sort of end of it now. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Graceland try and bring legal action now against the scammers.
My personal opinion with regard to that, Steve, is I would.
Yeah, to sort of set down a marker and stop other people chancing their arm.
Create a precedent and make people out there aware of the fact that EPE is a reputable business. They have a legacy to uphold, which they've been doing great for the last 43, 44 years.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think they should create the precedent to allow people out there to get the message loud and clear that, if it was any other company out there, they would have had lawsuits on their back the size of dinosaurs.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that they've got to be careful of now is that this so-called Nigerian scammer is not just messing about, and it's a practical joke.
Even if that is the case, Steve, with cyber security being the way it is these days, these guys can get caught out and they can get traced. It's just a case of you need money and you need time, which I think in this case EPE has both.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I'm sure, as I said earlier, they have a top level lawyers, which some people wouldn't have. I mean, if this had been, somebody that couldn't fight this, they might have lost their home. Just thankfully, Graceland have a very, very good legal team behind them, and they nipped it in the bud.
Yeah, great. Thankfully so. But yeah, my opinion is these guys, whether they be a syndicate or whether they be individual people, they should be taken to task about it, and a precedent should be created to say that, look, this kind of thing is not going to fly.
Yeah. Okay.
There should be legal ramifications.
Very well said. Thanks, Cam.
Thanks, brother. Good
All the
show.
best. Bye-bye. Right, we move on, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say is I can never see this when I first. I'm going to say hi, Brent.
Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. Good to hear from you, buddy.
Oh my God, yeah, I am. Forgive me if I sound a little weird. I am. I injured my tooth late Friday night, so I am on pain meds galore right now.
Oh.
But this is just as tranquil for me as those meds, this show. And it's always the high watermark of every Elvis week is the way I see it. And
that's very kind.
I think, Steve, I think I got to piggyback on what Cam said. It does set a precedence. that there is a "you don't screw with us" kind of message being sent loud and clear. Just
100%.
because Riley's in it doesn't mean that there's naivete creeping in through the door. In fact, I think she's going to be much of an iron-fisted protector of the realm as Priscilla could possibly be, even, and that's a bold statement. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Dylan said it this week, and he also said it last week as well. He's so proud of the way that Riley just nipped it in the bud. You know, she took action straight away and went to her legal team and said, "Look, this is just not on. Let's stop this now."
oh yeah, and I also got to give a great shout out to Cam. I don't know if you've seen it, Steve, but have you ever been to Michael Riker's channel?
No, no.
He's kind of new in the game. He's been a long time like supporter of like Leon's channel, my channel. He even watches yours sometimes when he's not working and stuff. He does. It's not an Elvis channel, but it does has a lot of Elvis content. And there's a series he has called Rebuilding the Collection, and he had Rick from Elvis A through Xeon and Cam and Dylan both hopped on the episode because the whole episode's about rebuilding the collection. They're talking about the Moody Blue thing, and it was just great. Cam had so many great things to say. Just a great, eloquent speaker. But yeah, I you got to check it out, Steve, because like it's about a guy rebuilding his Elvis collection. They go in depth
Right.
into whatever album they're talking about. And yesterday, all these different people hopped on, and that'd be cool if you even hopped on once. It's not my channel, so I'm not doing any like self plugging. I mean, I'm just a fanboy. I'm a total fanboy of this channel, and but no, but I wanted to say it because I didn't get a chance to. I wasn't able to catch the live thing yesterday, but Cam did such an awesome job on there, and I just want to say how awesome it is to have him as part of the Elvis community.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Michael was actually on the special you did for the Circle G, I think, wasn't he?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
what's the name of his channel then?
It's Michael Riker, Michael, and then
Yeah.
Riker, and he does a lot of. There's another thing he does called like Top of the Hops, and sometimes they have Elvis
Yes,
countdowns. Like
yes, that's right.
top, I did a couple of them with him, and I think that'd be cool. Like if you were ever to go on to Steve with him, because I think I love different combination of like Elvis personalities mixing the pot a little bit. I think
Yeah.
it's exciting.
It's
And hint, hint, you're always welcome to come back and do an Elvis music show episode if you
yes,
want to do it.
I know. I keep saying to myself, I promise I will. I'll come back on, Brent. I promise.
Permanent invitations, sir. And thank you for doing a great show. And I'm just going to say this. I have a feeling that the next call is going to be amazing. Cue.
I was going to say you
That's
can
all
see
I'm
the
gonna say.
you can see the queue. Yeah. Before you go, do you think the
Yes, sir.
emails from the Graceland sales scammer was genuine or not?
Well, I'm not I'm not an aspiring con man, but I've seen enough movies, read enough books. A real good con artist actually doesn't want to be known.
Exactly. I think it's very strange the way he boasts about it. I really do think it's very strange. You keep your cards close to your chest. You don't start boasting about it.
Yeah, and not only that, but I think in this multimedia, social media frenzy kind of, we're in attention seeking kind of narcissism is at an all time high.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Brent,
So he got his 15 minutes. So
he,
thank you,
he,
Steve.
he got his 15 minutes of fame is right. Yeah. Thanks, Brent. All the
All
best.
right, take it easy.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. That was Brent from Elvis Nation. Say it every week. If you get chance, please check out his YouTube channel. Now, yes, I'm very excited about this next call, and I know why Brent said he was excited about it. It's young Danielle, who I was talking about earlier on, who signed the wall for me. And stand by, Danielle, because I'm coming to you now. She was in Memphis last week. Hello, Danielle.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello, I'm excited to talk to everybody about Graceland.
Yes, now we saw your photographs on Discord, and I showed the photograph of you signing the wall for me at the start of the show, and I'm very excited to hear about it. So away you go. How long were you there for?
We got there Friday afternoon and we stayed through the weekend and came back Monday night to
So,
Texas. I live in Texas.
right. Oh, yeah. So how long did it take to get there? Did you fly or drive?
If you don't stop, it's about 7. No, we drove.
Right.
We were debating about flying, but then I would have to, rent a car because I want to go to Sunday studio and drive around. So we decided to just drive, and we didn't take the kids because I want to be able to enjoy the whole experience. I don't think my kids, they are 11 and 9, would appreciate
Yeah, I mean, they
the
really
whole
really
thing.
have to really have to be into Elvis, or they would just kind of be bored, wouldn't they? You can understand that, of course.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to spend that kind of money if they're not gonna enjoy. They may change one day, but it was a good experience for me. It was my birthday, May 21st, and my husband surprised me and take me to Graceland. And
So tell us about it. Did you walk up to the meditation garden first before you went into the mansion, or did you go to the mansion and then the meditation garden?
I went to the mansion. I was surprised to see how many people were there. It
Yeah,
was busy.
yeah,
There was a lot of people waiting to go in, a lot of people in the VIP line. That's the package that we purchased. And it felt a little bit rushed because they kept telling us, no video, you cannot come back to this area. So we knew that we had to see, take pictures, and leave because there were a lot of people right behind us trying, and you have to be considerate.
yes,
It was a busy, busy weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend for us, so it was a holiday weekend.
yeah.
And somebody mentioned that's one of the busiest weekends in Graceland. So I didn't know.
And
But from the moment that we got inside the guest house, it was Elvis, 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 music, Elvis. It was just a happy place. I felt like I was in the Disney World Elvis type thing. You're just happy.
I also saw a picture you posted where every night they'd give you, was it jelly and peanut butter sandwiches for free? Yeah.
Yeah, peanut butter and jelly with chocolate milk
Oh, lovely.
at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. as long as supplies last, and every night at least 1 hour I would see people standing there. So it was a lot. It was not just they gave a lot of peanut butter and jelly away, and I think most nights I saw people standing there until 10:15 p.m.
Yeah.
And they also have free movies 8 a.m. I mean 8 p.m. My only complaint was the movies that they were showing for free are the ones that you can find easily on the YouTube channels or
Mm,
some of these apps. I was hoping to see something like Tickle Me, Double Trouble, Change of Habit. Those that are so
yeah.
hard to find. But
Um,
it was just really good. Even my husband, that he is now, I can say that he's becoming an Elvis fan. He was really surprised how much he enjoyed the whole
Yeah, yeah.
experience.
It's like when I took my
Yeah.
wife to the Direct from Graceland exhibition in London. She was very, very, impressed with how well it was done and how interesting it was. She found, I mean, she's only a very, very casual Elvis fan. So, I think sometimes these people just, don't realize just how interesting it is and how big Elvis was, and they get into it. I mean, I've heard of people getting into Elvis after the Baz Luhrmann movie as well.
That was me, right? I knew about him. I knew some of his songs, but I had no idea how much he had contributed to the music and how hard he worked. Because I feel like Elvis knew he was not going to be here for too long. Just like I read somewhere that Lisa Marie knew she was not going to be here for too long.
Hmm.
So those people, I feel like they rushed through life, like let's get this done because I don't have much
Well,
left.
Elvis certainly probably he lived about 3 or 4 lifetimes in those 42 years. He squeezed so much in. A question I want to ask you actually was the wooden boardings up at the meditation garden when you went?
Actually, because you mentioned something in the beginning of the show, I went back and I was to double check, but there was no construction last
Oh, right,
weekend.
right, okay.
Yeah,
And
no,
the boarding
but
was
definitely there was nothing there. No, no boating, no stairs. Ladders, nothing indicating that there was a construction to
Right.
go
Okay.
on. It's a beautiful property. I got to see some horses
Oh yes.
that some people have mentioned that they don't see any. And the jumpsuit room, it took my breath away. Walking the record ball, because I knew he had played there. It made me feel like he was so real. Those walls that you could see the house from being outside, I could not believe how low they were at some point, that people could just jump in.
Yeah.
And so it made sense that people would spend hours and hours just to maybe see, to try to see him. Because if you go to Hollywood, which I have been, those people's houses, you don't see nothing. The walls are so high.
Yeah.
You don't see nothing besides wall. And Elvis was available to people.
Yeah. Elvis
you
was
were there to see him.
Yeah, Elvis was
He would let you.
always available to the fans. You went to Sun Studio as well, I take it?
Yes, I recommend if anybody plan to go to Memphis, make a day to go to Sun Studio.
Yeah.
It was a history right there, and nothing has changed. I believe when they say that nothing has changed. The walls, the floor, the instruments, everything is just the same. Elvis walked through those walls, and Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of famous people have been there to record music. So
Yes, that's right. They do. Yeah.
it's priceless. It's really priceless, and it's $15 to the ticket to go in.
It's very reasonable, isn't it? $15 when you think about it.
Really cheap, really cheap. I mean, compared to how things are, nowadays, everything is so expensive. And I didn't know that Dewey Phillips, the radio station where he played "That's All Right, Mama," was there. I had no idea. Nobody ever had mentioned that. I don't recall seeing in any documentary. But the tour guide told us that the hotel was demolished, but they were able to pull that out and place. And they attached this building to the Sun Studio. We all know it's a small building.
Yes, it is.
It's like all together. So, and upstairs they put it together where it says Dewey Phillips, and it tells the history how he played "That's All Right, Mama." And it was a nice surprise, and be able to walk in those, be in the same place as Elvis was just amazing. And knowing that he walked there, I don't know. I still feel like I'm floating when.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice. It's actually
I feel like I need to go back again.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you, are you going to go back again?
I will. It takes time, planning, and
Yes, of course.
go.
Yes, of course it
But
does.
I probably want to go in the Elvis week. One year. I want to.
It'll be very
whoever's left.
Yeah, it'll be very busy that week. That's the busiest week, obviously, of the whole year, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's my idea when I mentioned about going to my husband. That's why he booked for this month, was because I had said I would like to go to the Elvis week, but for the first time I want to go when it's not as busy, because I know Elvis week is just really busy, and I hope that there is more development. The guest house was a big place, but it felt crowded at times, and there is room to spend Graceland. There isn't, honestly, on that Elvis Boulevard, besides Elvis, Graceland and the exhibition, there is nothing else going on.
And tell me, what about the exhibition? The exhibition.
It is pretty.
The exhibition halls. What are they like? Are they busy as well?
No, it was not as busy.
Okay.
Because there's a lot more space, right? The house is you just walking through the hallways, and you have to follow. You cannot just go back. In the exhibition, you're free to just walk around, jump to a next room. We were there for almost 6 hours.
Oh wow!
Looking and taking pictures and enjoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have restaurants, so I was like, let's take a break because I don't want to be rushing because I'm feeling hungry. Let's go eat and then come back and finish. The place closes at 5:30.
Oh,
so
right.
We were there until 5:15 p.m.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the food good?
And I mean, It's really good. So I was actually surprised. We
Okay.
got to eat most of the time at the guest house or the Graceland exhibition because Memphis is not safe. And a lot of people told me, don't be walking around, don't,
Mm.
and at moments it could be, we saw a couple homeless people, and unfortunately that's the reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's everywhere,
So
unfortunately. Yeah.
we try to stay indoors, and the guest house, the parking is safe too. You have to have a be a guest to go in. So we felt secure there, and I think they did a great job with the guest house. There is some remodeling needed. I noticed that I think is 8 years old now.
Yeah.
I don't know who is managing the property. I don't know how, if Priscilla is still involved, somewhat, but there is some remodeling that needs to be done in the hotel. But that
Yeah.
was a great idea. It's a walking distance to the mansion. And
Yeah.
if you want to be there 7:30 when it's free to the public, it's very convenient to go outside, and it's right beside Graceland. It's
Yeah,
like
that's right. It's
literally a
it's
walk
literally
away.
it's literally right next door. Did you walk up to the meditation garden at 7:30 in the morning?
No, I did not. Next time
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah,
This was a
it's
vacation
yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
I started a new job, so it
Yeah.
was a catch up sleep time for
Yeah.
me.
I remember
Um,
I remember going up at 7:30 in the morning. It was very, very, very peaceful. I could just hear the tinkling of the fountain and the tweeting of the birds, and it was very, very peaceful. I actually broke down. Actually, it was that sort of emotional that time. So yeah,
and the
I
people who
recommend that.
stayed there, like a lot of people, when we went, was around noonish, was already kind of hot in Memphis.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
people just stand there,
yeah.
stand there. It's a beautiful garden. It's hard to believe that he has been gone for so long.
It's hard to
People still following
yeah, it's hard to
and
believe he went
loving
so
Elvis.
young as well, didn't it? You know, I mean, 42 is
Yeah,
no
I
age
hate that.
whatsoever.
I think we all hate that. I even said that before. It's just the fact that we all wish that he had lived longer.
Mm, yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
Danielle, thanks very much for coming on and sharing your memories of the trip. And I would recommend anybody who hasn't seen the photos to go onto the Discord channel, join our Discord channel, and go onto the thread, and you'll see all the photographs that Danielle posted. They really are very, very good. Thanks, Danielle.
yeah,
Thanks very, very
I
much.
wish that I was just trying to allow people who had never been, and sharing with people who loves Elvis makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
you
have
did.
not shared with my friends because they don't know. They don't know why I love Elvis so much. But with you guys, I don't have to explain
Yeah,
myself.
exactly. You don't have. There's no exhibition. There's no explanation necessary.
Hey, and I just want to add one more thing. As I mentioned, it was my birthday, and I did send you a mug. I'm hoping that will make to you.
Very
And
kind.
for my surprise, this weekend, somebody gave me a mug. And when I opened the box, it's exactly the same one that I bought for you.
I'm really looking forward to this. It's very kind. I'm going to show it on the
So
show when I get it because Danielle
yeah,
is.
I don't want to show because I want it to be a surprise. But I
Yes,
was just
yeah.
shocked that my friend, without knowing, got me the same one. So I'm excited for that.
Very good. All right, Danielle. Thanks very, very much again. Thanks for coming on.
Thank
Bye bye. Bye bye.
you. Talk to you
Bye.
later. Bye.
Bye. Yes, Danielle, who has been this last week to Graceland and Memphis and Sun Studios and everything. Great shots on the Discord channel. I'm going to stand by Leon, and I'm going to see if I can just say hi, Leon.
Hi Steve, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Not bad, great show, Paul. I have massive shout out to Danielle. What a great call that was. I mean, honestly.
And did you see the photographs? Great photographs as well.
Tremendous.
I was so envious of her. I really was, because it's been ages since I've been.
Yeah, I mean, it's envious. Anybody, even if you've been before, and anybody else goes, you still feel that envy that they're there and you're not. So
yeah, exactly. So
what a great call.
What would you like to say, sir?
Well, first of all, I didn't get a chance to phone in last week about the same subject last week because there was too much noise around the house last week. So I couldn't get you to talk to you. But I have to be honest, when the story first broke and I first heard about it, I really wasn't that concerned, to tell the truth, because when you consider how much money they were looking for, and then you look at the turnover from EPE, you think, nah. I mean, that's not opinion. That's just counting. I mean, it's simple. It's just counting. So I really, and of course, it soon blew over after a few days, and then of course we get this about the scammer. Now it's all about what you want to believe. What road you want to take on that? I mean, some of these scammers are very, very sophisticated, and for all that technology improves and the detection improves, some of these scammers, the way they operate, improves as well.
Yeah.
But just as at the start of the story, we just have to have faith in the strength of the legal team at EPE and the authorities in the US, that they will be able to investigate this properly and just do what they have to do. Because it is detracting a wee bit away from Elvis, the person and his musical legacy, and why he's so important to us. I mean, don't get me wrong. The fact that we were so concerned about this, full stop, it just shows the affection that we all have for Elvis.
Yeah, yeah.
But we just have to sit back now, and we just have to let the legal team within EPE and the authorities in the US just try and get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether you heard me say last week that when I first read the story, I laughed and chuckled to myself. But now, now the dust has settled, I'm thinking, actually, it's not as funny as I first thought, because, you know, it could have done a lot of harm, and these people need to be taken care of. They need to be warned, you know, and it needs to be put out there that they've been warned, and even maybe sued as well to stop it happening again.
Well, the funny part of the hilarity is definitely about the fact that they had the fact, as I said before, you consider the turnover from EPE and the money they were looking for. However, the point you did make that was right on the money is the fact that the next time it might not be Graceland, it might not be EPE, it could be somebody who's unaware, because these scammers always tend to target the vulnerable. How sophisticated they've got now is that some of the email addresses that they send you look genuine, and the only difference can be that one of the letters, just let's take Amazon as an example.
Yeah.
One of the letters within that email address could be an italic.
Yes, that's right.
Notice that's how sophisticated it's got, and if not everybody is tech savvy.
No.
Knows what they're looking for. So today it was EPE. Next week it could be somebody who can just afford to pay their mortgage and no more.
That's right. I agree 100%. Yeah. I mean, you're quite correct. They are very, very, very subtle now in getting through, and even bypassing some of this sort of the spam detection that people have on their emails and things like that. So it is quite worrying. So not, you know, initially I laughed, but now when I think about it, it can be quite worrying, actually.
Sobering is the word I would use. Sobering.
Very sobering. Yeah. But do you think that we've heard from the real scammer, or do you think they were just messing around? This fella from who claims to be from Nigeria.
Well, I grew up here in the 80s when for example, when the IRA were planting bombs in outside prominent buildings in England, and if it wasn't them, somebody else would try and make a claim on it. So this isn't a new thing. The same thing happens when bombings went off in the Middle East, when there was always somebody quite happy to try and take credit for it. Same when the Lockerbie bombing happened. Within minutes of it happening, there were about 3 or 4 different groups that tried to take responsibility for it because it looked good. And this could be exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It could be genuine, it might not be. I suspect that it is an opportunist, but I've got nothing to back. Unlike the feeling I had about the fact that the whole thing was a sham to start with.
Yeah.
This is nothing more than feeling. I have nothing to back this.
Exactly. I mean, I said last week it's probably got a little bit more to run, and we could, there could be in the coming months, you know, a lawsuit when they track down the person. It's just, as I said to earlier callers, you know, why are they boasting about it? You know, most of the time these scammers, they don't boast, they just get on and scam. You know, it's a very strange. But the person is being very boastful, aren't they?
It's quite possible that it's some sort of, it's a hacker, and other hackers will know who he is, and they are just all applauding within each other.
Yeah.
He's put his head above the parapet, and I very much, if that's the case, I very much doubt that he's even done it. He's just trying to look good to his other hacker friends, to be honest.
Yeah. Did you vote on the poll?
I did.
What did you vote?
I voted that. When I first thought about it, I thought I'll vote that it's genuine, but no, I don't. I came around a wee bit on that.
Okay.
But I tell you something else I want to mention on the back of something that
Yes,
Ben
please.
said
Yeah.
there. So he was talking about Michael Riker there.
Yeah.
So the good thing about the Elvis community is that we all have our own channels, and we all have our own way, and of course there's room for everybody here. We want to keep Elvis's legacy alive, and that's the most important thing to us.
Yes.
And the reason I mentioned Michael's is that I just recorded a show with him this afternoon.
Okay.
I think from what Michael was telling me, that should be up on his channel maybe next week or the week after. And we had a great time, with absolute great time. Michael's a lovely guy. He really is, and he's very knowledgeable too.
Yeah.
So that's something else to look forward to, because it's all important that we don't compete with each other. We all work together. Because there is enough competition within the Elvis community without all of us adding to that. We should all work together and try and keep Elvis's musical legacy alive, because as the years go on, it gets harder and harder to get new fans, because Elvis gets further and further away. Elvis is different because of what he's left behind, because of what he was, that he still have younger fans. There aren't many artists from Elvis's period who have so many younger fans. And this is something that we have to try and keep, and we have to try and encourage, because we can't let the average age of the Elvis fan keep rising and rising and rising, because eventually there will be none left. And then what that will then mean is things like what happened last week will not matter, because there will be nobody left to care.
Yeah. I can't add anything to that, because that was just perfect what you've just said. It really is.
But listen, honestly, keep doing what you're doing, Steve. Honestly, brilliant show, great show. Always good to listen in on a Sunday night.
I appreciate your support, and I do agree 100%. As long as the channel is respectful and promoting Elvis respectfully, then I will support it 100%. The only ones I get angry with are the ones that try and either take advantage of Elvis or make him look silly, or keep on about, his health issues, or, the last couple of years, that he was terrible looking, or he was fat and all this and all that. Those are the ones I have no time for.
Well, do you know, Steve, you hit a kind of sore point with me there, because if you're going to talk about that, now, there's nothing wrong if you're talking about the fact that Elvis had put on weight, if you put it in context.
Yes.
I mean, for example, as you get older, we put on weight. It's normal. Now, these days, if somebody had started in the 1980s or the 1990s, the start of their career, and they were stick thin and very, very good looking, just like Elvis, and then you get to around about 2020s, so same sort of career span as Elvis, and you'd put on a fair bit of weight, nobody would care.
That's right.
Why is Elvis treated differently?
It's something that's always puzzled me. It's almost like people think that Elvis shouldn't have got old. He shouldn't have put on weight. It was almost like he was on that pedestal, and when he showed his human frailties, people almost got annoyed by it.
That's everybody. What I think, and what I firmly believe, is that as Elvis got older and his musical tastes changed, what these people who either had liked or disliked Elvis in the early days suddenly saw, as Elvis got older, his appearance changed, and his musical output became more mature, that their youth was getting left behind, and this made them more aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what it is. It's been now. Virtually no other artist was vilified for moving to what we might call middle of the road. Now, people use the term middle of the road music as a put down, but it's not a put down.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest music ever has been in that sort of area. Now, I was talking to somebody the other day there, and we're talking about the Boulevard album, and I'm saying, okay, it's not the same material that it's very downbeat album, and it's not the sort of material that Elvis was recording even years before. And a lot of people were saying that he should be still putting out rock and roll. This, of course, these are the reviews around the time. But we have to remember, Elvis had been in the business for the best part of over 20 years now. He'd done his time. He'd had all the awards. He'd had all the acclaim. He was now in a position where he could record whatever he wanted to record.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not for anybody else to say otherwise.
I've toyed with the idea of doing a special or a topic on the live show on the Jungle Room sessions as well, because I think they're a highly misunderstood sessions by casual fans. And as you say, okay, they were downbeat, but there was also some really, really good music that came out of those Jungle Room sessions.
Oh, absolutely right. And let's remember that when Sony brought out the Jungle Room session set, that was kind of the precursor to everything else. We've had the Stax and the Nashville stuff. That was kind of the first one. The critics were overflowing with praise for that set.
Yeah.
And yet they look on the Boulevard album and Moody Blue as not the best, but things always get looked better at in hindsight, and I have to say that Sony have done a better job now than RCA did certainly in the 70s as far as the output's concerned. I think, but we need to keep encouraging. We need to keep building our channels. We need to get it out to as many people as possible so that we have another generation that can come in and keep Elvis's music, because Elvis's legacy will only stay alive as long as there are fans to keep it alive.
Exactly. Couldn't agree 100% with you. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, Leon, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what you do so well every Sunday, Steve. So
thanks.
Keep doing that.
Thanks very much. Thanks for your support, Leon. I could speak to you for another 3 hours. I really could. We must do a podcast together one day.
Listen, you know where I am anytime you like.
All right, matey. Cheers now. Bye bye. What a great call by Leon. Well, actually, what a great call from everybody tonight. So thanks very, very much to all the callers. I'm really, really made up about that. I thought they were real great callers this week. So don't go away, because I'm going to close the poll. I want to see what the poll is. The results. Yes. I think it was genuine 14%, no 56%, and not sure yet, I need to know more 30%. So, that's quite a lot of no's of people don't think it's genuine. Although 13% only said yes, and there's quite a few people sitting on the fence. 30% are saying I need to know more, and I believe that those 30% will not be disappointed, because I don't think the story is done and dusted yet. I still think there's a little bit more to come out on that. I had such a really, really great time this week. The callers were just fabulous. Thanks to everybody that called in, and thanks to everybody that took part in the quiz, and everybody that's commented. And if you do like what I've done, then you can buy me a coffee. You can scan the QR code or use the link below. But until next week, take it away, Al.
Elvis has left the building. Thank you and good night.